Hello, are you here to debate?
Hello. What's up, buddy?
What's up? You here to debate?
Yeah, sure. I'm with it.
All right. What is your name, age, and pronouns, please?
My name is Paul. My pronouns is a man, and I'm 35.
A and man aren't pronouns. What are your actual pronouns?
I don't even know what pronouns are, dude.
Oh.
That's like new stuff. So
What did you say your name was? Your name was Paul?
Correct.
How old did you say you were?
I'm 35, Paul.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know your name. Yeah. 35. I just saw you on YouTube, so I just figured I'd call.
No problem, Paul. I'm just concerned. Like, what state did you grow up in? If you don't mind me asking.
You asked me. Well, I do mind because you asked me two things first. You asked me my name, you asked me my age and my pronouns, and I was a man, and then you said no.
Well, yeah, man aren't.
I don't know.
A and man aren't pronouns. So when I'm asking what state you were in, because what state you were raised in, I don't care where you live now, but I wanted to know like what state you were raised in, because it's concerning to me that like the public education system didn't teach a 35-year-old what pronouns were. So I'm just wondering what state you were in.
Now I think you're being silly, because we all know that the pronoun movement became a thing a couple of years ago. Am I not right in saying that?
What is the pronoun movement? What is that?
Well, if they're teaching about pronouns, I'd say within the last 3 or 4 years in education system. They never used to do it when I went to school. That's a new thing.
They didn't. Well, that's why I'm asking you what state you were in, because I guarantee you they taught what pronouns are.
Oh, they didn't. I graduated in 2007. The pronoun movement didn't become a thing until I'd say about 2016.
So 2007, you would have been 18. So you would have been in school between 2007. Correct. You would have been in school from like 90.
I graduated, but I get what you're saying. Go on.
So you'd have been in school from like 1990, 93, 94 to 2007? Give or take?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, and in all that time, they didn't teach you what, like, I learned pronouns in kindergarten. They didn't teach you.
Yeah. When you say that you're, 20 years old, 21 right now?
I'm 31. Well, that's a lie. I'll be 32 in 8 days.
Okay.
So we went to school around the same time.
Yeah, so then you probably heard pronouns when you were taking a foreign class, when you would say, like, for instance, Spanish.
Kindergarten, they taught me, like, first-person pronouns versus, like, possessive pronouns versus, like, third-person pronouns. They taught me that stuff.
Yeah, but that is that's speaking in form of, like, a sentence. That's not identifying with what you identify with.
Paul, pronouns are directly used to identify you. That's like the purpose of them, is for identification.
But so you're telling me that the world isn't using pronouns to identify women that are born women as men because they identify as such, right? That's not what you're saying.
For instance, if someone says their pronouns are she, her, that is going to imply that they are a woman in whatever sense of the word they use woman. So, like, we would use pronouns to imply that they're a woman.
Okay. But why do you need pronouns to apply something? Shouldn't common sense dictate what the person is? Like, if I saw a woman with long hair, I wouldn't need to guess her pronouns or ask her that. So that's
Paul, can I see you?
Excuse me?
Can I see you right now?
I told you that I'm a man, and you said that wasn't good enough.
Well, no, you said your pronouns were a man. Those aren't pronouns.
Yeah, and
unless you use neopronouns. If you use neopronouns, then I apologize for the confusion.
Do you know why I did that?
Oh, I assume it's because you don't believe in pronouns. But
not a belief. You believe in pronouns. I know that pronouns are not used in that way. They just started to.
You know that pronouns aren't used in a way to refer to somebody in the third person?
No, they aren't used to define somebody's sex in what they're being used nowadays.
They're used to gendered pronouns like he, him, she, her, they, them. Those are used to refer to people in the third person, specifically in a gendered way. If you don't want to be referred to the third person in a gendered way, I can use neutral pronouns and call you they, them.
But you know my name, so let's move past that and let's actually have a conversation. I don't think we should be stuck on this semantics about pronouns. I think it's very silly.
You think it's silly to be stuck on pronoun stuff?
Yeah. I gave you my name, and I don't know why you need to address me anything else but my name.
Are there people, question for you, because you called in, so I assume you saw the stream. Are there people watching the stream that are not me?
Yeah, but you asked people to call you to debate, right? So that's talking.
Yeah, I'll be so honest with you. The questions, the pronoun question specifically, is a litmus test to whether or not the person calling me is going to be like disingenuous or not, or if they're just going to say, here are my pronouns. So the ball is in your court to prove that wrong, but...
Yeah, I think it's disingenuous when I've already told you that I'm a man and you said that I'm wrong.
Well, you didn't say you were a man.
I said I
you
was
actually,
a man.
you actually didn't. I asked what your pronouns were, and you said my pronouns were a man. That's not saying you're a man. That's saying your pronouns are a man. That's not saying you're a man.
Okay. Well, you know my name is Paul. So unless you've met a woman in your 32 years on this God's green earth that was named Paul, then I would think that you're bright enough to know that you're speaking to a man.
You think women can't have the names of men?
I never said that. I said, have you heard a woman named Paul?
I'm sure there's a few.
No,
I'm sure there's plenty.
You.
Me,
I said you.
Whether or not I've heard somebody have a name, it doesn't mean that person might not exist.
Now we're playing silly games. Let's just get to the debate.
We're playing silly games. Okay. Sure.
Yeah,
what did you want to?
Because well, we could start over the top, and the prompt is. I think the prompt was about something about transgender or something of that sort. Correct.
Something about transgender.
Trans men, women are men. Are you saying trans men and women are men and women?
Yes.
That's your claim, and how can you claim that? How is that possible?
How is it possible that trans men are men and trans women are women?
Yeah,
because women and men would be sociological categories that link to like identity qualifiers, and I would say they fit into those qualifiers.
No, because if they were trans, that means they're transitioning from something to look like something
trans
else.
Doesn't
correct?
Mean transition.
Then why
trans
would you
means
use the word
transgender. Trans is short for transgender.
Transition, and
not
they
transition.
Mean trans. Okay, now you're being pedantic. You're
pedantic.
Trans what? Trans what?
Gender.
You're transitioning from what?
Gender
to another. So
no, trans
gender.
means So I just to give you a quick little etymology lesson. Trans is an ancient Latin phrase which means like on the opposite side of. So when we add trans as a prefix to gender, what we're saying is your gender is on the opposite side of your sex. You're trans. Your gender and sex are not aligned. They are opposite of each other. Not that you transition.
Okay, so let's ask you something.
Because trans is also the prefix in transition. Like the transatlantic didn't transition into the Atlantic, right?
Now you're picking and choosing when you want to be right about the word.
I'm picking and choosing.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying.
Okay, are trans fats transitioning fats?
Obviously, they're not actual fats, but.
Okay. They're not actual fats. Trans fats aren't actual fats?
Meaning, what I mean by that, trans fats are like made up compounds. They're not real. Like, if you think about vegetable oil and compare it to olive oil, they're two different things. Like, as far as them being good for your body. For
they
instance,
both fats?
olive oil is way better. What?
Are they both fats?
Seed oils are bad for you in general.
I'm not asking if they're bad for you. I'm asking, are they fat?
You just asked me, are they bad? And I said, yes.
No, I said, are they fats with F-A-T-S? Are they fats? Are trans fats fats? The answer is yes.
They're not real. They're not real.
Trans fats are real.
They're
yes.
Not real. They're not real.
They're not invisible. They're not made up. They are real. Yeah.
Well, explain it to you? Because it's obvious
Sure, go
you
ahead.
don't understand what I mean by it.
Sure.
And I think it would be better if you let somebody explain instead of just arguing a point
Sure,
you
go
don't
ahead.
understand. So what I'm saying is that the reason why they are bad for you is because they are trans fats, meaning that they're not from an actual natural source.
Incorrect.
Meaning that no, it is correct, because
it's
vegetable
not.
oil is just as bad as crude. Vegetable oil is just as bad as crude oil was if you were to ingest it. What are you talking about? Do you know how vegetable oil gets made? Well,
So
go
that's
ahead.
wait, I just want to
Say it again.
confirm. I just want to confirm. It's not natural, but it's made from vegetables.
And most of the vegetables that they use are GMO, so they're not natural. Correct. Now you're starting to learn. Great. I'm glad that we're.
So if you make
trans
trans fats out of vegetables without GMOs, then what are they?
they wouldn't make it. They wouldn't make it.
My question
That's
is
the
not
whole point
whether
of
they
what I'm
would
saying.
make it or not. My question is, what would you call it?
Trans fats.
Okay. Did you know trans fats naturally occur in some foods? Did you know that? Like they just occur naturally in the food?
What food has trans?
Oh, sure. I'll tell you. Trans fats occur naturally in food products from ruminant animals. So milk, butter, cheese, and meat products. So milk, butter, cheese, and meat can have trans fats in them.
Trans fat. That is not trans
Yes,
fat.
I'll say it
bro.
again. I'll say it again. Trans fats also occur naturally in food products from ruminant animals, milk, butter, cheese, meat products.
You're just saying that, but that is not trans fat. Those are natural fats provided by the animal.
I'm sorry. I'll just read this again. Trans fat. Trans fat. Okay, let me read this again because maybe I'm reading it wrong. Trans fat also occurs naturally in food. You know, I read it again, and that crazy word trans fat was there again.
I heard what you said, but I could also read a book from 1995 that said.
Oh, okay. I see the confusion. I see the confusion. This isn't a book. This is the FDA's website. This is the FDA. This is the Food and Drug Administration.
And Drug Administration. So you're taking advice from the Food and Drug Administration.
The administration that focuses on food? Yeah, I think that might be a good source. The administration that focuses on food?
It would be a good source, but let me ask you something. If it's such a good source, then why do they not tell everybody that when they go to the grocery store that what they're actually buying? Why is it? Do you know the difference in barcodes?
Have you not looked at a nutrition label before? Did you not know that those exist?
But I do know that.
I'll give you so I have a bottle of ketchup near me. If I look on the back of that ketchup, oh man, isn't that crazy? Trans fat, 0 grams. Oh wow. We have a handy thing we have this handy dandy thing that's like regulated by the Food and Drug Administration that tells us if trans fats are in things. I didn't know.
Okay, so
I didn't know.
Because I think you need some knowledge, I'm going to give you some information.
Oh,
so
sure.
Next time you go into the grocery store, I want you to look at the difference between the bananas. Something benign is bananas, right? You'll see two different options over there. Look at the barcode. You'll see that says 4011, and then you'll see another one that has a barcode that starts with a 7, 8, or 9. Do you know the difference between those two?
You tell me.
No, I'm asking you a question, then I'll tell you. That's how this works.
Well, I'm telling you I don't know, so go ahead and I don't know. You tell me.
Okay. So say, just like how you were being kind of, firm with
the
guy,
shit.
say it's a yes or no. So
You guys will never guess what I just found. You'll never guess. Hold on, Paul. You'll never guess what I just found. I'm on heart.org, and I just found that small amounts of trans fats occur naturally in some meat and dairy products, including beef, lamb, and butterfat. I thought you said they didn't occur naturally.
And can we go back to what I just asked you?
Oh yeah, sure, sir. Go ahead.
Now you're okay. So because you don't know, so for 4011, that is genetically modified.
Got it.
That's a genetically modified fruit and vegetable.
So
the barcode includes all the things that you eat. So just because it has a nutritional bar on it doesn't mean jack shit. That's why I'd say at least 40 to 60% of the foods that we export that goes to Europe doesn't get put on the shelf. And if it does get put on the shelf, it'll have a warning label. For instance, M&Ms in the United States and M&Ms in England are not the same. For instance, dairy in England and dairy in America is not. You said so?
Yeah. So what?
So what? Are you serious?
Yeah. So what?
So you just talked about transhumanism. Now we're talking about trans food, and I guess that's why you think it's okay, because you're fine with it as long as it has the nutrition label, huh?
I'm sorry. Am I not allowed to make the choice on what I eat? Should I?
I don't think you're making.
Should the government decide what I eat for me?
No.
Okay. You want the government. So should we ban all trans fats?
We definitely should. As a matter of fact.
Okay. So the government should decide what we eat.
I think. Can I explain? Can I explain why?
Sure.
I'm going to explain why the government should take more time into actually paying attention to what's going into these foods, because most of the diseases that exist in this world are man-made. Most of them. They don't occur naturally. Most of these things are man-made because of the foods that we're eating.
Sure. What are your examples?
What are my examples of it? I just gave you a few, like the bananas, for instance.
No, examples of the disease. Examples of diseases that are man-made.
Example of, like, for instance, things about cardiovascular diseases. They're caused because we're eating terrible food, man-made products. Things that are like Purdue chicken. Purdue chicken, their chickens are like twice the size of what they used to be, but we don't care because we think we're looking at the price tag when we go into the grocery store.
So just confirming, it's man-made. It's man-made not because man invented the disease, but because something man does causes you to get the disease.
Thank you, Boo.
Now you're starting to think.
By the way, I just found something here on the World Health Organization. The World Health Organization, the WHO. Did you happen to know that trans fats? Wait, really quickly. This is from the WHO. Did you happen to know that trans fats can also be found naturally in meat and dairy food from ruminant animals, i.e., cows, sheep, and goats?
Yeah, and do you not know that those same trans fats are not found in animals that aren't taken care of properly?
Sure, but the claim you made was that trans fats don't exist in nature, that they're all man-made.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought.
That was your claim.
If they take animals and they do things naturally in what's the word that you guys, a sustainable way, you won't see those trans fats. The reason you do see those trans fats is because a lot of these producers are using fillers like corn and grain, and they pump the animal with that.
Okay, but this goes against your claim that there's not natural trans fats. You claim they were all man-made.
That's not. If you're feeding an animal corn that is processed and ridden with chemicals, there's nothing natural about that. What the fuck are you talking about?
So their bodies don't naturally produce this, though? That's what you're claiming?
What did I just say? Maybe you didn't hear me.
Well, you're saying like contradictory things. That's why I'm confused.
No. What did I say?
What should we get out?
Make sure you're
real quick, Paul. Sure, you win. You win. Sure, I'll give you the W. You can win. Sure. Who cares?
I'll make sure that you, because we're having a conversation here, so I want to make sure.
Well, yeah, because you don't know what the word trans means. That's what this all led to. You didn't understand what trans meant.
I think for a young man who's 30-something years old to have bunny ears on his head talking about trans, I think that's.
Do you know the difference between bunnies and cats?
Say again?
Do you know the difference between bunnies and cats?
Whatever the fuck, you got ears on your head as an adult, man.
I was making sure. Do you know why trans fats are called trans fats? I'm just wondering.
How about you stand my position? What did I say to you?
Sure, you said that trans means transition. That was your position. Your position is that trans means to transition. That was the claim you made.
No, I'm talking about just now.
I don't care about anything that came after that, because you were wrong about trans fats not being natural. There are natural occurring trans fats. So now I'm gonna continue. Do you know what trans means now, though? After all of this like rigmarole, do you understand that trans doesn't mean transition now? Because the fats aren't transitioning. That's not why they're called trans fats. They're called trans fats because the molecules are on opposite planes.
No, you see, what you did was you
No?
looked at stuff to go with your claim. You didn't really look.
No,
to
they're not
actually
called. They're
look-
not called trans fats because the molecules are on different planes. Opposite planes specifically.
No, you're experiencing trans
Oh.
fat in those animals, how they're raised and how they're kept. There's a big difference.
There's a big difference between what?
There's a big difference between naturally raising things and unnaturally raising them, especially with pesticides and GMOs. Yes, there's a difference. There's a big difference.
Okay, so you're saying these things wouldn't appear without pesticides and GMOs.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why we have oil now, is it's a cheaper alternative to the other things that we have on the
So
market.
actually,
Okay.
animals like cows, sheep, and goats naturally produce small amounts of trans fats because of the bacteria in their stomach, which is rumins. And that bacteria, when it digests grass specifically, it causes a process called biohydrogenation that creates a trans fatty acid as a byproduct, not because they're fed corn and GMOs. It's just a naturally occurring bacteria that when it takes in grass, it does this.
Brother,
That's
I'm
crazy.
a farmer and I deal with it. I deal with this.
To be a
shit.
farmer and
So
not
that's
know
why
this
I'm
is
trying-
concerning.
No, for you to be a 32-year-old and ask me what my pronouns are, I told you my name is Paul, is quite concerning.
Thank you, Boo.
Asking
That's
someone's
concerning.
pronouns is concerning?
Yeah, because that didn't become popular until the 2016 mark. I didn't start to get on applications and all this shit until the LGBTQ movement started becoming so prominent. So let's move on to the next claim. We're not hung up. What's
Oh,
the
sure.
next claim
Does
that you have
trans mean
from
transition?
private?
Yes or no?
I already told you yes. There's no
Oh.
way I'm going to go
So
around it. We can agree
Why?
to disagree,
Why?
and that'd
Because
be
you're
fine.
wrong?
No, it's because I'm firm on what I know, and you're firm on your belief. So there's a difference.
Mine is not a
I don't
belief.
wanna
Mine
argue
is
with
the
you on that.
definition of the words.
It's a belief. It is a belief because you
No,
have to go
it's
look
mine
it
is
up.
not a belief. It's
is-
the definition of the word
it is
trans,
belief.
which is
It is a belief.
transgender,
It is a belief.
or on the
From a
opposite
book.
side of.
No, so you go.
What's
and
the
you have to
what's
get
the definition of
knowledge.
trans, Paul?
I've already told you that. We've already went through that, and we can move on to the next claim.
Okay, so you don't like being
I'm
proven
really
wrong.
I'm really surprised you haven't muted me by now. Seems like that's something that you're good at earlier.
I
But
mute
go on
people
to
when
the
they don't
next
stop
claim, buddy.
talking. Do you want to like steamroll? Because if you want to be muted, just start steamrolling.
I've been talking over you, and you haven't showed me that same
Trans,
courtesy. So I'm like,
adjective,
Yeah,
denoting
so-
or relating to a person whose gender identity does not correspond with the sex registered for them at birth. Transgender. Damn, isn't it crazy that that's exactly what I said it was?
identity.
Isn't that
Gender
crazy?
identity.
Isn't it
When
crazy
does
that that's
gender
exactly what I
identity
said it
become-
was?
What's
Yo,
crazy
chat,
to
don't
me-
y'all think that's wild
No.
that that's exactly what I said trans was? That's
No,
nuts.
that's not what you said. Trans was.
Yes, it is.
That's
I
not
said
what you said
trans is to have a gender identity opposite of your sex.
Gender identity. So that means you're identifying with something that's not you.
That's not what
Gender
identity means.
identity.
Great. So when
what's
someone
your-
just
are you-
confirming, when you told me that you identified as a farmer, are you saying you're not a farmer?
No, it's just what I do.
You identified
It's not who I
yourself.
am.
What does identity? Oh, okay. So you don't know what identity means. What does identity mean?
I do know what identity means.
So what does it mean?
Are you kidding me? That's not, but identity is not who the person
What does identity
is.
mean?
It's who I'll give it to you in a simpler form. It's the costume that they wear while in the
Okay,
world.
I'll just give you the
identity.
Merriam-Webster definition because it's not what you said. The distinguishing character or personality of an individual or the relation established by psychological identification. The condition of being the same with something described or asserted. Sameness or essential or generic character in different instances. So identity can be a distinguishing character or personality of someone. That's crazy. You said it was when people were lying though.
No, well, it is because if for instance, if somebody told me that I looked like a woman and I'm a man, I know that I am a man, I wouldn't get upset with somebody calling me a woman. But it
You got
seems
upset
like
when I
people
asked
in
you your
your
pronouns.
community- Hold on. No, the reason why I didn't get upset, I just
Yes,
said
you
I
did.
don't know what you're talking
You
about.
were crashing
No, I
out for like
didn't.
10 minutes over the pronoun thing.
I didn't crash out over pronouns, bud.
Absolutely
You were going hard on pronouns, and I said I don't agree.
I was
with
going
it.
hard?
I told you to move on.
I was going hard.
What? You
What
were
about me
going
being
hard
What about
because
me
you
being
kept-
hard?
What?
I was asking you what about me being hard.
I never said you being hard. I said you were going hard, meaning that you were going round on a tangent about the pronoun thing and me not wanting to play that game.
I was going around in a tangent.
You were, because I told you to move past.
What is
that.
a tangent?
We're still talking about. I don't know, Merriam-Webster. Why don't you look it up? I'm driving.
It just seems weird. You keep using words you don't know. I don't know. It seems odd.
That tangent.
Yeah, what's that mean?
Do you not understand? Do you not understand simple logic?
No, I don't know what the word
conversation?
tangent means. What does it mean?
I'm driving, so I can't give you the Merriam-Webster dictionary. But
So
you
just
can
give me
probably look it
your
up.
so just give me your definition. Give me what you think it means.
No, that's not. I don't want to give you what my definition is because every time I do,
Oh, is it because you don't know?
Dictionary. No.
Is it because you used another word that you don't know? No problem.
No, asshole.
No problem, Paul. We can
because
move
I'm
on.
actually
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm going to the next claim, buddy.
What? I haven't moved off from my original claim. Trans women are women because they fit into the sociological categories that we've denoted to be women.
Trans women, they are men who like to play dress up.
They're men who like to play dress up. That's what you're saying?
100%.
Why?
Why? Because
Uh-huh.
how can a man transition into a woman?
Men don't
Explain
transition
that.
into women.
They don't? Are you
Nope.
telling me that you've never heard of a man trying to transition into a woman? That's what you're telling me? You've never heard that?
Yeah, I've heard of trans women coming out of the closet and now like changing their physical appearance to match their gender identity.
You're trying to be funny. No,
Trying to be funny, like haha funny, or like a clown.
I said a man can't be a woman, which is a claim that
I agree.
saying is
Men typically don't become women. I agree. Typically, only women are women.
Why didn't you have men dressing up as women claiming to be trans women?
You have women
Yes, you do.
You have women who dress as whatever they want because they're women.
No, that's not how it goes. Because you
It
can't
is
even
actually.
be honest right now. No, there isn't, bro. There's women crashing. There's men crashing out right now because they don't want to, because they're saying that Trump won't allow them to go in a women's bathroom even though they have a dick. So that's what I'm trying to get to.
Okay, so if you have a dick, you shouldn't go into the woman's bathroom?
That's common sense.
Like ever? Like you should never go into the woman's bathroom if you have a dick?
Unless there is like a threat of a woman's life or something, I don't think that a man should go into a woman's bathroom.
Okay, so if I have like a 3-year-old who needs to pee, I should just like let them go in the bathroom by themselves?
Are you married?
What if I'm a single father?
Do you know that they make bathrooms for parents to go into there with their children?
Do you think every place has a family bathroom? Do you think every single establishment has a family bathroom? So if I'm in a bathroom, let's assume I'm somewhere without a family bathroom. What do I do?
Now you're being funny. You would use the male bathroom if you're going in there with your son.
I didn't say son. I said 3-year-old daughter.
No, you didn't say. You didn't even say.
Oh, I didn't say. Sure. I just assumed you would understand. But sure, I'll say the sex then.
No.
I have a 3-year-old daughter. Let's say I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I'm alone with them at a store that does not have a family bathroom. Do I go in the men's room or the women's room?
Would you like to know what I would do in that situation?
I'm asking you what I should do.
Well, what any good-hearted human being would do. Let's say you wanted to take your daughter in the woman's bathroom, right? You would knock on the door, and you would wait for a response. If you hear ladies in there, you would wait, and you would teach your child patience. That's what you would do.
So if my child pees themselves, then what?
You would change your child.
So I should just let my child piss themselves?
You asked me if you should go into the bathroom.
Yes,
with
and your
child.
answer was make your child wait. So if my child has to piss and they're about to piss themselves, I should just make them wait. Got it.
My answer was to knock on the door, and if there's ladies in there using the bathroom, to just be courteous and kind and let them use the bathroom.
Sure, and if my child
really
pisses themselves, what do I do?
Normal parents have extra clothes, especially when the children are that young.
No problem. And now I have to change. Now I have to change my toddler. Do I take them into the men's room to change them, or the women's room to change them?
You're not parents, so that's why you don't understand that you would bring extra
Where do I
clothes for your
change
child
them?
with-
The men? Yes, I know. I understand. I understand. I brought an extra pair of clothes. Do I change them in the men's room or the women's room?
Hold on. So then pissing the pants thing is a mute point because you would already have clothes.
Sure. Do I change them in the men's room or the women's room?
He told you what to do. If your daughter's a daughter, then you would probably want to take her into the women's room so you don't see.
Okay, so sometimes men do go into the women's room. Okay.
You what to do.
Great. That's all I wanted to make sure. Sometimes men go into the women's room. Got it. Thank y'all for the tips to boot. Sorry it took so long. I just wanted to get to the end of that. Cassandra, thank you for the 30 or for the 25. Sorry. And what else? Shannon, thank you for the 11 on Venmo. Barriella, thank you for the 20 on Venmo. And then thank you for the 30 on PayPal to Vaughn. Like, the question is pretty simple. What bathroom do I take them in? He goes, women's. Okay, so sometimes men go to the women's room. That's not what's happening with trans people, but clearly we don't give a shit if men are in the women's room. You only give a shit when it's trans people for some reason.